Why do you think that people these days are very not aware of politics? Youth?
Okay, I think a few reasons lah. The usual response we get from the ground is a lot of youth feel that politics is very dirty.
Dirty, okay.
So for that reason, they try to stay away from it lah.
Do you agree, Ashraf? That is dirty, politics?
I think politics in Malaysia a little bit, lot of drama. It's a little bit Game of Thrones and House of Cards combined, but still our political drama is very unprecedented. So of course we don't talk about policy, we talk about the stories, I mean the drama and politics. So I think that's why youth doesn't really want to participate in politics, because all drama and you know.
Do you agree, Sir?
And I think politics, youth, they don't get themselves involved in politics. One of the main reasons are parents. Parents tend to tell their kids that, hey, politics is dirty and politics is dangerous, you better stay away from politics. And another possible reason is because of our education system. And our kids were taught not to ask too many questions. You better follow what it is today. So this is another big problem that we are facing now in Malaysia system.
So let's take a step back. Okay, let's talk about why did you guys join politics in the first place? How did it happen? Was it like, click, I want to do politics? Or was it like your friends like, hey, you should join politics lah? Or your parents say you should join politics? Maybe we can start with you, Ashraf.
Oh, start with me? Okay. So basically, I'm not consider myself as a politician because I don't hold any public office yet. But the reason I'm joining politics because I do believe that in politics you will get the position of power. In the position of power, basically you can do many things that you can enact policies that you believe in. So compare that, let's say you work in private sector, whatnot. Of course, you will achieve your personal ambition. But in politics, it's basically you serve the people. I think that's in a way the true meaning of why people should join politics.
Do you agree with Sean?
My personal story actually, before I ran as a candidate, there was no plan for me to enter politics at this time. I wanted to still work as a lawyer because politics, financially, it is very unstable. You're voted in every 5 years. If you're not voted in, then habis lah. Then you have to pick yourself up. So for that reason, I wanted to give myself that time to develop professionally first. But I've always seen politics as something in the back burner, but it remains as, to me personally, a highest form of service lah. Where similarly, like in law, that I saw that as an avenue for change, and so politics as well was an avenue for change. So for that reason, it was always something that I thought of but never really seriously dabbled in. But then later on, when the opportunity availed itself, even then also I didn't straight away jump in. I took a very long time to think about it because it would require me to leave the job that I was actually very comfortable in at that time already, to go into it. But after thinking about it, I felt that, you know, I'm still young, and actually that's a benefit because if this becomes one of the worst decisions of my life, I still have time later on, you see, to fix it. Whereas if I enter it at the time where I you know, it's a little bit too late in life, if it's the worst decision of my life then, and I want to go back into the legal profession, it's a little bit difficult timing-wise. It'll be a bit difficult unless I've already really established myself, like go bin, then that's a different story. But where I'm at, it's either you go in really early or a little bit later lah.
I actually started to follow the politics, I mean the news, when I was in secondary school.
Wow, so young.
Yeah. I don't know why. I just love to read.
During your generation, a lot more.
Yeah, I'm much more senior than all of you. So I used to read a lot of newspapers. Without reading newspapers, I cannot sleep. So I love reading newspapers, read all the political news, and that was the time that I started to involve in politics. Not really involved in the front line, but to get to know what is politics about. What is politics about in Malaysia, and.
So
I think that was the beginning stage
So that was
of
a
my
calling,
involvement.
you say it was a calling.
Okay. The beginning stage of my involvement in the politics, but it wasn't my plan to actively involve in politics like what I am today. It was never in my plan at all. I used to have a quite okay career, and I had a quite okay business, comfortable life, and it was never in my plan. So until 2008, and Pakatan Rakyat at that time took over Selangor from Barisan Nasional. I was invited by DAP to become the councillors, MPH councillors.
So
2008, yes. So I started to involve in politics actively since 2008.
So what were your age at the time? Around how old?
30 plus, 30, still older than Michelle. So I started my political career as
But you had an
councillor.
established career before they went.
I want to say I was quite successful in my career lah.
But as to pick up from what Michelle said just now, regarding the facts that parents, like as you said, you want to have an established job, they only want to enter politics. Wouldn't be just discrediting the fact that you want to enter? Because a lot of times when the youth tell my parents, especially me for example, like I just entered politics like this year, I'm 23 this year. So I tell my parents, you know what? I'm really interested in politics. I studied law as well. I just finished my law school. So I told them, you know what? I'm kind of interested in politics, you know? Then they're like, don't want lah. You go inside, you earn money, 5 years, you hilang, no more job. They always tell, establish first. What will you or any one of you?
So you're a lawyer also?
No, I'm not a lawyer yet. I mean, I just finished my law school.
Just finished. Okay. Wow, so 3 lawyers against 1 engineer. Wow, jialat ah.
Or actually the other way around. No one can do mathematics here.
But so what will you tell the parents that tell their kids like that? Like, you know what? It's not a stable career. You shouldn't enter politics. What's the point? You will probably lose, or you will probably get caught by police or whatever they say all the time. So what will you tell the kids? Like, what will you tell the parents to advise the kids? What is your opinion? Do you have any opinions?
Maybe they start first.
Okay, my kid is still very young. Okay, I've not started talking politics to my kids yet. But I think one of the, as I said earlier on, one of the general problem in Malaysia is most of the parents will advise their children not to get involved in politics. You better find a decent job, a decent earnings, and then have a comfortable life. But one thing I think we must not forget that is we like to complain. As Malaysians, now we receive a lot of complaints. We like to complain. So how can we make our country better? So without the power, without the involvement in politics, a lot of things that you cannot change. You like it or not, from the second that you wake up every morning, politics determine what you're going to do in the next second. Politics determine you can or you cannot do certain things. Politics will determine you do or you don't do certain things. Like now, politics tells that we must put on the face mask when we go out to a public space. A lot of things that politics will determine what we can do or what we cannot do. So this is something that I think it is very important for all of us who love this country, who want to see Malaysia to become a better place for everyone.
What about you, Michelle?
Okay, coming into this job, I faced exactly that. All right.
The same situation.
But what I found very ironic was the exact people who wanted young people, young blood in politics, were the very one discouraging a young person who expressed interest to fulfill what they wanted. All right. So that was a big irony for me. But I understand when parents issue the advice. They want the best for their children and they want to protect them to make sure that they have a stable career, they can earn a good life, and they wouldn't have to go through any difficulty. I understand that. Yet at the same time, I suppose I would ask, why is it do you feel that politics is not a viable option for your child? All right. Those are the exact reasons why your child is probably passionate about entering politics in the first place, to create change in the things you feel isn't good in the country right now. So that being the case, wouldn't it be good to nurture that? Because nurture that in your child, because not many people would strongly feel that way, and that your child does is actually a gift not to just your family, but potentially, if done right, potentially to the entire country, to the community. And I think you would agree as well, if someone else's child were to go into politics, that you would definitely praise them, right?
Like, oh, he become YB already. What are you doing? You're still in your room playing computer games, right?
So why is it that you can do that when someone else's child goes into politics, yet when your own child wants to? Yes, there's the apprehension, I appreciate that, but yet at the same time, I suppose the other approach is to try to guide them so that they make wise decisions once they enter into politics. Yeah.
So do you agree that parents these days kind of contradict themselves sometimes when they ask their child to like be like these people, look at her, look at him, but then at the end they're like, don't enter politics because it's just dirty?
I think I can answer a little bit different from the perspective of UMNO. Okay, because one must understand this is from UMNO perspective. UMNO is quite a gigantic organization by itself, with about 121 division, about 20,000 branches. So it's a very hierarchical party.
Okay.
So when you talk about join politics, you see, you not necessarily become the wakil rakyat in just one night.
Right. This one I totally agree. It doesn't mean that you need to become wakil rakyat. Joining politics, it doesn't mean you need to become YB. No, you can contribute from many different aspects.
I agree as well, correct.
Yes. But let's say one have the ambition to become the people representative and then ADUN a parliament, as I say in UMNO perspective, you have to undergo
the whole process of going from the bottom to the top.
From the bottom to the top. From the very beginning, it takes years. That's why you see those UMNO candidates normally 40s over. Because naturally at the time, they are established in their career, they have built their network in the rural area, in the kampung. So when they just waiting their part to be selected as the party's candidate. The problem is that in UMNO perspective is basically too many people have their ambition, but only few places. So that's where the young people who are very ambitious still waiting their line when it's my time to become the people. I'm already ready.
So do you think UMNO is up for change? Do you think they should change their ways to build up 21st century?
Okay, to be honest, during the last PRU 14, only a few representative, candidates for MPs for UMNO is below 40. Only a few. So for the young people, they quite feel devastated. But I do believe after the tsunami politics 2018, many things were changes. And I was being informed that during the PRU 15 or the next election, there should be some changes where more young people should be given place.
Right. So let's move on from that topic and let's go into another topic. So let's go into how do you separate your personal life and work? Because as you said just now, politics evolves around you all the time. Everything you see on the news, even the longkang you see, I need to call the councillor to fix it, right? So how do you separate yourself? Take a step back. It's time for me to have time with my family and my friends, but at the same time, I'm receiving texts all the time. So how do you guys separate work from? It's because you're not a 9-to-5 job, right? So how do you separate it?
So as wakil rakyat, I think it is very, very difficult to differentiate whether you have a personal time or public time because you belong to public. And it is really a big challenge, especially for my case. I have young kids and I need to spend time with my family. I do not want to miss any period of my time that my kids are growing up. So this is really a big challenge. So we just need to find a balance. So it is a big challenge.
Does a family complain? Any of your family complain like?
If I tell you no, if I tell you that my wife never complain, I think that's a lie.
I'm guilty of that as well. I suppose Ng Sze Han is very, very right. It's very difficult to separate work from home, from personal life. And my husband does complain as well. I suppose it will boil down to number one, give and take. Sometimes I see Ng Sze Han bringing his child to work one kind of thing. So, you know, and the second thing is also if you really want that kind of balance, to turn off requires a lot of discipline. To not look at your phone for half an hour.
That is not easy. That is not easy. Not to look at your phone for half an hour. Yes. Yeah.
Sometimes midnight, if a fire happens in a low-cost flat, for example, you cannot say no, you know, you have to go.
I think a lot of people don't understand the work that state assemblymen and MPs put in sometimes.
Yes, yeah.
Like they always see that, oh, YB.
They don't know how to differentiate the roles.
I feel that youth also think that way sometimes. They think that you're unreachable. You guys are YBs, we are just normal people. And they don't understand how much work that you guys put in every single day to go through. So like I've been working with an MP for quite some time, so, and I see every day the complaints we receive. So that is why I feel that, which is quite understated, the fact that state assemblymen work a lot. So what do you think about this issue?
Actually, even though I'm not YB, I concur with them because I'm involved in politician
For
a
the
lot.
first time, I'm no agree.
No, because for politics, for politician time is very valuable because I know my YB in back my kawasan in Johor. People just died, funeral he go, wedding he go, rumah terbakar he go. I mean, you see, I simply ask, actually YB, when is your time with family? He said he just smile. No answer for that. So it's very clear for politicians is a
Cannot find answer.
It's actually a sacrifice
Sacrifice,
to
yeah.
the country in a sense of a way, if we look at it.
But in the way you get satisfaction as well. Sometimes when you achieve something that you really wanted to do for a long time, that is a satisfaction that you can get.
So let's say one day you guys have kids. I mean, by the way, I'm not sure if we shall have kids yet. So I'm not sure if you're married or. But if you are married and you have kids, and your kids want to join the opposition party, they tell you, Mom. I mean, I know what it is in MDAP. They said, Mom, I really love MCA's policy. I want to be in MCA. What will your response be?
Go out.
Don't be like Tiger Mom. Don't be like, no.
Go out.
Go out.
Maybe 20 years later, MCA is a better party compared. Why not? I think that is not an issue.
What about you? Would you let your kids join any other party if it is what they want to? Or
Actually, just to be honest, in my personal opinion, after 2018, in politics, nothing is certain. You see, you can say that last year, no one can really, think that UMNO will fall in power, but it happened.
Yes.
So 10 or 20 years from now, nobody knows.
Nobody can tell you.
Nobody can predict. So I don't.
just to be clear, you guys are okay with your kids joining politics? By what you have gone through?
Personally, yes.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. This is very surprising because some of the parents will be like, oh, I join politics, but I can't join because I know what is happening. There's so much work.
Because we know what politics can bring change.
This is very refreshing to hear. Okay. So just a very quick question. Okay. So who do you think is the most coolest or chillest politician now in Malaysia?
Ng Sze Han.
This cannot be true, right? Nobody believe. This is a very difficult question.
Very difficult.
Like very chill and very cool and easygoing. That you like to hang out with as a friend, as a bro, and a mama there drinking coffee. Do you have anyone in your mind? Or internationally? Can be international.
Donald Trump.
Really?
He'll be a very interesting person.
Yeah. I think it's interesting to mix with Donald Trump.
Interesting
Yeah.
him,
So Donald Trump is the answer?
I need to think.
This simple question is very dangerous.
Very difficult to answer.
Because I think this is what our viewers want to hear. Like sometimes YB are too unapproachable. This is how we humanize. So, have an answer yet? After a quick. No? Okay, then we go on for you. Who do you think is the chillest and coolest?
In the world or in the country?
In the world also can, if you want Donald Trump also.
No. If in the US, I just watched Netflix documentary about AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
Yeah, he is a very young congresswoman, actually.
Yeah.
And
She's good.
Yeah, and so I think
It's a very interesting story where her tried to join the primary because she is very underdog. She is not in the system. She's bartender and she challenged the the Democrat members who are very well established. It's very interesting.
So it's a very ideal, very inspiring.
Inspiring, yes.
Okay. So
Safe answer.
Since we're in this topic, can I get a comment like, what do you admire about UMNO and DN? One thing. And then from your side about DAP.
About UMNO.
UMNO or any of your opposing political opposition.
Okay, I think UMNO has done very well in their grassroots or their networking, and this is something that a lot of parties fail to do. They are very strong organizations. As what I explained at Fasha just now, you need to went through a lot of levels. This is good and bad, but this is something that what I see UMNO, they are very strong in that. That is their strength.
No, actually, I very much agree with that. It's something that a lot of parties truly struggle with. Because one thing that you can definitely get from UMNO is if you call them to come, they come. And there's a lot of people, regardless of whether you're talking about orang asli villages, whichever kampung you go, even if they don't have people there, somehow they will get other people from somewhere else. And to have that not just in dense areas like whether it's Selangor or Penang or Johor, but throughout the country, right, is a very tall task which I do respect them for. I really do respect them for.
What about you? Do you have any admiration? I mean, name one admiration towards your opposing.
I think for the AP and Maya, because they somehow have a fast track program to nurture talent. In quite short time, the AP will make those talent become their representative.
You mean the young leaders?
Young leaders, yes. I think I've seen a few examples. I think this is the AP. We can see lots of young people with the AP. But for UMNO, this is where we fail because such a huge organization, we have so many queue, and the young people doesn't have enough representative. That's the problem.
So do you think Malaysia is ready for political maturity, for proper debate, and also for youth to finally have a voice one day?
I think if we want to wait for everything to be ready, it can never be ready. We need to start somewhere. And it is a time for us to start.
Yeah, Malaysia was ready in my view, a long time ago already.
Yes.
Yeah, in fact, we are late to the game. Yeah, in responding.
Just do it.
Yeah.
So, because we're lacking of time, we have 3 more minutes. So, can you name what you would advise a youth that does not care about politics? We can go with you first. Sure.
No, I believe youth should care about politics, particularly during the general election. They have to participate because if they like it or not. Politics basically has determined their life, determined the policy, so determine the fate of the country. So if they like or not, youth must take action. First, by register as voters.
Okay, I think we all agree on that.
Yeah, I just want to address 2 issues. The first is what I raised earlier. Youth don't want to enter politics because they consider it dirty, bad politics. This is something that I learned from Stephen Sim in a forum that we did together actually. Stephen Sim actually said the answer to bad politics is not no politics. The answer to it is good politics. And so all the more reason you have to actively participate and introduce that into the system. The second thing I want to address is young people overseas who are perhaps watching this. I know a lot of you parents will have told you to just stay overseas because no opportunity in Malaysia. I want to challenge you to think of opportunity differently. Granted, overseas, the opportunity you get will be in a form of very tall corporate ladders. You get financial systems in Hong Kong, in Singapore, in London that you might not get back home. Yet, at the same time, the opportunity in Malaysia is unique because you get to actually build those ladders for other people to climb. And it's a matter of trying to find that space and find yourself in that space to do that instead.
That is a very true statement.
I'd like to remind youth that youth are not the leaders for tomorrow. Youth are the leaders for today. So what you are doing today will determine your future. So it is very important for youth to get themselves involved in politics from today.
So we are reaching the ending. So since the political situation in Malaysia now is quite, how do I say this, quite unstable, and I'm pretty sure there will be a lot of work coming in the future for all of you. So we will be giving you a token of appreciation later, sponsored by our go-getter, our planner. So we will be giving you to plan your life ahead. And also big thanks to our mic and also mic sponsors, which is Projection Synergy, Sendirian Berhad and Genial Vision Enterprise for supporting our youth movement. Yeah, we should give our hand for that. For supporting our movement, even though we are very young, we just started in June, and we hope that one of these days our movement can be successful. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Well done.